talks about you a lot. My dad and I were maybe thinking you could care for him during the day. All you'd have to do is be there and go on walks and stuff. Why did you follow me home from the party? Or do you only remember when it's convenient?
I don't remember.
You don't know what you're doing. You're not able to make rational decisions right now.
I loved that it had so many gray areas to it. It felt like a film that would be impossible to make within a studio system because there'd be so many people, especially in the political environment we're in and coming out of Me Too. Everyone would be so afraid of making a mistake, of saying the wrong thing, because sometimes I think films can be seen as like lectures of the right way of being.
Yeah.
And I love that my character does very complicated things. I love that she makes mistakes. She doesn't make sometimes the most responsible choices. But when you look at actually who she is as a human being and what she's gone through, for her to make every right choice would just be so inauthentic and not anything that has to do with any kind of humanity or a human being that I would really even know. So I love that Michel Franco is willing to explore gray areas and not lecture an audience, not tell you the right way to be. He's just more focused on the healing of these two people.
Peter, you had talked about this being the tiniest movie, which I think it's interesting because it's obviously you can tell when something's like lower budget in the sense of like it's more austere and things like that. But I wonder if on set, how the feeling, like what is it about it that feels tiny?
I mean, if you drove by our set, you wouldn't know there was a movie being shot there. How about that? Like it's not, I don't know if you've been in New York when movies are being shot, but you can usually certainly tell. And no, we had a very small footprint. The production design was frequently whatever was in the house when we got it. Actors provided a lot of their own clothes and circumstances, did their own makeup. We were staying in usually rooms in the house that we were shooting in or next door over a tire shop. But if you get rid of all the BS, all the extra stuff, and you just go right down to the essentials, then you can tell these more complicated stories, right? Because this is a film that requires people to meet it halfway, to use their own minds, to fill in what is not explicitly said, to be intuitive. And the reward for that is obviously, I think, pretty emotionally satisfying.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think you guys both are pretty intentional about the types of roles that you take a lot. And I know in one of the articles you were talking about you used big caribou.
Oh, caribou? Yeah, well, sometimes I say Dad's going out to kill a caribou, which is not this movie. That's when Dad is going to... I usually say that to my kids if I'm going to some far-flung place and I'm going to be gone for a while. I'm like, but when I come back, I'm going to have a big caribou. Because I take pride in, supporting my family and giving them the lifestyle that makes it so they can do all the things they want to do.
I think if I was making back-to-back movies like this, I wouldn't have a sustained sense of fulfillment. I think what makes it really special is it's so different than anything else. And when you're doing something different, it really challenges you. There will be, I'm sure at some point I'm going to go back to making some huge Hollywood film, and that in itself will be a challenge that I'll have to figure out. And as I'm sitting in the trailer for hours going, where are my co-stars?
Oh, completely. It can be quite isolating,
Yeah.
I think, being on a big movie,
It's good to have the variety.
Yeah. I've always found trailers to be kind of like things that just chop everyone up and distance them from each other. And I, spend most of my time outside when I'm filming.
Jessica, I know you had in mind Peter for this. You started thinking of him. What was it about him that you thought he would be a good partner in this?
Well, I came into this industry because I love watching films. I never became an actress because I was like, I want to be the center of it all. I just loved from the moment I could realize that it was even anything, was this idea of storytelling and theater and cinema. And so I, for fun, will go to the movies. So I still do. I go to see theater. And I have spent a long time watching Peter's work. and as an audience member, really being moved by what he's done. And now that I have the opportunity to work in cinema, I'm constantly, then I both of my sides get to meet, whereas like the audience and the actor, and I'm like, oh wow, now maybe there's a possibility to collaborate with this person who I've admired for so long. And when Michel asked me, it was kind of like a no-brainer. I didn't know if Peter would want to do it, but I knew that he was someone that we would bring so much to it without vanity, and that was important to me.
I mean, I felt the same way. Obviously, it's an incredible piece of material and a wonderful part, but when it was Jessica opposite me, I mean, my God, I just had to sort of tap down my enthusiasm to try to be cool, but when I showed up to that meeting with Michel, there was a meeting about, I guess, whether I would do the movie or not. I mean, there was no question in my mind. Honestly, Michel could have been a complete jerk, and I still would have wanted to do the movie because she's just such an extraordinary actress, and this is such an extraordinary relationship.
And I think you guys both really do this beautiful dance of like not making caricatures of these people that are dealing with really hard, complicated things. And so I'm curious kind of what that process was. Did you feel like you needed to do a lot of research or?
I would just say really fast is that the first step in doing that is not to think of the trauma or the dementia as the character. These are the obstacles that the characters face in terms of getting what they want and expressing themselves. So it's just a flip in thinking, right? You have to work on those things and think about those things, but they are not the person.